I think we tested anhydrous, right? And it improves nitrogen.
Yeah, like fertilizer.
I thought Jay did that last week. I don't know, 2 years ago.
And then we checked a bunch of greenhouses yesterday. They just give money per hour, so. Hey everybody, and welcome
working, right?
back to East Coast USA pre-release map testing. Today we're going to do a couple things that we need to get
works.
to.
What's
We're not done.
test? Anything specific?
Mostly it's just, I would say probably down to just farming stuff. Pretty sure we've tested all the production.
Did you make silage for the BGA or anything?
Yeah, we went silage. Checked the bunkers. We've made compost. Oh, we need to take. I need to buy bulk. I need to buy bulk slurry. I bought bulk lime yesterday, herbicide, liquid fertilizer. If we would do some seeding, we can go buy some bulk seed. We've gotten digestate out of the BGA. We bought plenty of manure. Bought pig food. We've sold milk. We've made dehydrated milk and sold it. We've sold apples. Lake Genetic Jay was doing a bunch of contracts on fields to make sure you can finish them out. We sold everything, we bought everything, and found some issues. Those have been worked out now.
Did you put down any placeables?
Yeah, we placed them all, including about 12 repair sheds that never showed up. They're all in the sky. Eventually found those. So we fixed that. There was fences and farm junk that we were supposed to be able to sell, but we couldn't sell. So we fixed those. We validated alfalfa regrows. So
Just waiting on seasons.
yeah, that's supposed to come early in the week. The reality is, first opportunity I'll probably have to touch the map again will be maybe Wednesday. 'Cause tomorrow is going to be ATS night. Tuesday we're going to see how big of a turd NASCAR 21 is right there.
Most likely.
Is it looking bad?
Yeah.
They're all iffy.
ATS is out of beta, right? Because mine updated today.
Yeah. Make sure you move over to the regular branch.
And I gotta get all the mods downloaded then.
You got super strength.
Yeah.
Jump down here near field 9 in my combine, throw my header in the field. I am not going to get that wimpy little trailer.
Hold on, I gotta wait on the slowest garage door in history.
Oh, never mind. I got super strength.
Hey, I got your harvester in here too.
Well, thank you. I think it could have fit.
I wasn't sure.
This is American map, right? We shouldn't be doing this. Dang hedges.
The Historical Society is very accurate.
Apparently for the whole county.
No, go deny they went full release the other day. They went release branch on the beta. 142 is in full release. 3 inches. Oh my gosh, Delilah, that is a lot of rain. So how's Kansas?
Howdy, howdy.
There he is.
Who went to Kansas?
Worthy.
Race was in Kansas today.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, you got my days all screwed up. I watched it. Kyle Larson won. That's 3 in a row.
Has he won more races this season than his whole career?
He did. Up to that point, he only had 7. Now he's up to... Well, he got 9 this year. Plus the All-Star race. And he would have had Pocono, but he blew the tire out leading in the last lap in the 4th turn.
3rd turn?
Well, whatever's there, yeah.
What's the triangle?
Well, they put little extras in it.
Oh, they've redone it now. Come on. Alright, I can buy a slurry.
All that trouble when we threw it in the wrong field. How do you get to field 9?
Got to remember, Darren, this is a recreation of Churn Farm, which was a Wales farm. The society did a fairly good job of recreating it.
So I was telling them, they're very accurate.
Yeah. That's why the rest of the farm is American, but the Churn Farm is Americanized Wales.
Well, we got lantern flies now, and they hate hedges. They're eating them all up.
In Darren's world, there'll be a new county ordinance against hedges.
Yeah.
It's not safe. People can jump out of them during Halloween and, you know, do something to the zombie walkers.
Well, it's a good thing Will's late, because as long as I got super strength mod, there's workarounds.
Oh, you're almost done. Fellsburn
2
Revisited.
minutes left
Wow.
on my download. Be there.
Is that Raz I hear?
It's I.
How are you doing, dude?
Oh, feeling better today. I'm moving around. I
I heard
actually can weight bear on my right leg now.
I heard you weren't as hip as you usually are.
That's pretty good.
Listen to you guys, old man jokes.
Yeah, FK's over there acting like he's young, you know, trying to pretend.
Getting old, aren't we? Told my wife, I said, I don't care what home they put me in as long as it's got internet and a computer.
There you go.
Hey everybody,
That's it.
and welcome back
I'm like
to
that too. As long as I got a computer and internet, I'll be
Eastern Shore
good.
Oh, nope.
USA
I don't even
pre-release
care
map.
if they serve
listing.
Jello.
If they feed me 3 squares a day, I'll be in good shape.
We are joined with Will, map author, Darren, and soon Raz. Today we're just going to be doing some random farming, I think, on the map. I need the compost to finish cooking so that we can chuck it on a field and make sure the manure action works on it. And we also need to see if we can sell the compost, and that should just about finish off all the production elements. I, for one, am going to grab a seeder and go find a bulk seed buy point and relive the old days of Churn Farm. Seeding some of these old, historic, hilly fields.
See what new modern tech can do as far as horsepower going up and down them hills.
You gotta work across the hills.
Oh yeah, that's good. Be happy to know that all of the objects have been fixed. Everything shows up properly in the store as it should when you buy a farm. And they're all sellable.
It's the way it should be.
And I'm halfway done with the season's mask already today. I was working on that earlier.
Oh, look at this.
And there's some surprises now as far as equipment that people can use but don't belong to them.
You think this one poplar tree here beside my combine, Will, you could move over in the final release maybe at least a foot so it's not on the field? Want to jump in it and look at it?
Where are you at?
Field 11.
Okay. Ah, okay, I see it. Yeah, that is.
Just a little bit. Course play will hate you.
That's not actually supposed to be in the field like that either, so that's... Yeah, I'll move that. No problem. And that one won't cut either, I don't guess, huh?
I don't know.
It looks like it's a full size one. I'll buy a chainsaw real quick and see if I can get it to cut. Just out of curiosity.
Oh my gosh, get out of that thing. Almost burned myself sitting in that seat. Will, what is up? This video is brought to you by Diablo del Toro. Thank you for being a farm baron. Bulk seed. Bulk seed. Bulk seed. Bulk seed. Can't read anything over here. Bulk seed. Bulk seed. With shipping, fuel. Where's the bulk seed?
Seed is down by the train tracks at the Pioneer Seed Place. It's right behind, or right up the tracks from the granary. It's a bulk seed fill point there.
Well, GoldenEye, you just gotta go across the green. Across the hills. And there's plenty of flat fields. I mean, right there you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one's not that bad. 6. Man, that slow turtle internet wasn't that slow.
Sorry, sync late.
Don't worry, Giants fixed this in 22, I'm sure.
Obviously, yeah.
We have almost all the fields over in the other section are flat.
What do you need done, sir?
Darren's harvesting wheat. I don't know if he has a trailer to dump it in.
Yeah, I need one. I'm at 90.
I'm gonna go seed on some fields and reminisce about the old days.
How FK will be in the tractor cab singing, "Turn the radio up."
No, no radio. You can't stream with radio on.
Well, hopefully he picks that field I remember from his videos way back where it looks like they filmed Heidi from it.
Where you at? Darren, 11, 9.
I'm at 11, and don't bring anything American. You're not going to make it in the freaking gate.
Oh, you can get in the gate all right, you just can't make sharp turns with big combines.
Sorry, I got a little manure in here. I'm about to dump in the ground somewhere.
Oh my gosh. Phil, I saw some pics from a German website, yes.
The trees are fixed now, they're moved. Yeah, I can multitask. I'm in GE and in the server at the same time. Isn't that awesome?
I don't know what that website was doing, if they are a, here, let's get the wheel straight. And then it'll make driving the keyboard easier.
You get
I don't
trigger to
know if
work
that
fine or
website
not.
was a,
He's trying to use it in a way it wasn't designed to be used as. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If they were
sometimes
like a
filling
web
directly
store
from
or like a game review site or what they were.
But that's the reason I like to let him test stuff, because he thinks of cool ways to break it. You have a catch-22 with that planter. It's either fold it and be able to get up close, but not be able to fill it, or unfold it so you can fill it, but you can't get close.
Bennett, 2015. Thank you for the super chat there, buddy.
I got a seed tender. I'm coming.
The seed cell point would be a lot easier because it has
Give me
a color order.
permissions.
Alright, I'll go get the seed while we wait.
Oh, I got your. Here, I'll give it to the. Is it
Around
all
here
down
somewhere.
Yeah, Darren, I see what happened with the tree here. It's the NPC
Ah, here it
puts
is.
the field definition right through the middle of the tree, but it's not that way when you're in the map in GE. So I just moved the tree. Problem solved.
I got a seed tender coming that way, Klein. I can just remember how to get over there.
It's over by field 5, 6.
What am I buying?
Fertilizer.
Fertilizer. Bulk fertilizer.
Where's it at again? The
Down by the tracks, the yellow grain leg. The building that has the doors open on the front of it. There's a fill elevator. Not elevator, but like a hopper and a belt out front.
what field is it? Sorry.
Flash, I use a keyboard and a wheel and
Oh,
pedals.
you mean the...
I use them interchangeably.
Like what proximity? What?
Oh, it's way at the west edge of the map. The sell point is. It's over there by the community where all the sell points and the anhyders and the gas station and everything is.
It's over kind of where I am.
Okay. Did you buy? You bought seed. That worked, huh?
Now I could get under the seed.
Yeah, the auger's higher on the seat thing.
I wonder if the seed tender will fit under it or not.
Yeah, the guys inside the office at the fertilizer place are laughing at that guy in the planter that was trying to load from the conveyor belt.
Because the seed tender is a little high too.
We'll just sit here and wait. And while we're at it, we'll buy some field. Some fields.
Oh, but it's got the auger thing on the bottom. Yeah, we'll be alright. Should be alright.
There we go. Oh, pretty good. There we are.
It worked.
I gotta go in the one that's got the door open.
Is it going to clear that lid? Yeah, looks like it does.
This tire's in the way.
Oops, a little too far back.
This is like the fail stream. Oh, barely fit. I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing, Flash?
Well, we'll pour it onto the side of the container, but hey, what do we care, right?
That's what works in the game.
That's right.
Well, let's go have some fun.
Well, in fairness, when I designed that sell point, I designed it to be like one that I used to watch in Missouri, where they were filling the little spreaders, the little double axle spreaders that the farmers could come and rent. That's all they ever pulled under was spreaders, or maybe a smaller size spreader truck, or maybe a tender that they came to buy fertilizer in. They never did anything with actually filling a planter directly. Oh, I'd forgotten how much blissful joy it is painting a season's mask.
Oh. What size brush do you use?
Right now I got one that's 5 meters in diameter. I'm painting the roads. Because the Historic Restoration Society is actually on the ball with getting the roads plowed after a storm, so there shouldn't be any snow piled up anywhere.
They're quick with the melt, huh?
Yeah. Well, they know they gotta be, because the dues everybody pays to be able to work in the county, they have to be on top of it.
That's right, big bees.
Yep. Think homeowners association, but worse.
Let's head over here to this little field. We'll work our way over to a bigger field.
There's always that one field that's nearby the port that has the gigantic hill on it.
What's the reason we're at 5-speed?
We've been on 5-speed the whole time, right?
Yep, ever since I've ever been in, it's been 5-speed.
Oh, I missed my turn. This is where we need to be. Game Boss 1M, how you doing today? Welcome to the stream.
Well, thankfully, when I made the collisions on these hedges, they're just flat planes inside the hedge, instead of the whole hedge actually being a collision, because that would be disastrous.
There we go. So Golden Eye, this would be a perfect field for your sub $100 farming. or sub 100 horsepower farming. You got some trees encroaching on this field too. Field 17.
Yep, got a pine tree sitting there in the field. Or I could leave them there for a fact, so people would have to cut them down.
There's another one. And another one.
Actually, I might just leave those there because that field looks like it's the original one by the arable farm that's been there forever. They're gonna have to get out there and cut the trees down. Mm-hmm.
If you look, I don't know. There's a baling contract on field 20 that pays $1.
Field 20.
Are we putting anything down?
Go like into the contract screen.
Yeah, I guess we are.
Okay, let me find that.
There's actually a couple that pay $0 too for sowing.
Yeah, we've had some problems with some of the fields on the map do not have field definitions in them. And we got the switch in there that GTX told me about. Of course, I had already found it through another individual before he told me about it. Field 31 is one of them. Field 52, 51, 17, 18, 19. But yet they still, some of these still try to show contracts anyway, even though they're not supposed to. And it's always for $0, and that's because there's no field definitions on the field. I'm not sure why they're doing that.
You have a no-till texture, looks like.
It's kind of a no-till, yeah. You still have stubble there. And that's more realistic than, you know, just making everything vanish when you run a seeder over it.
Flash, it's just a scene. I don't have
And then
to
of
do
course
anything.
when
It
you're
just
planting with a row planter, you'll have the demarcation lines for each row. It's set to about 40 to 30 inch rows-ish. The plow will have a ripper texture instead of a plow turnover for it. Looks like a ripper went through it. When you cultivate, you'll have stubble in the dirt.
So, I mean, I guess we could do random field work to make sure all the ground textures appear right.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
I'm gonna go start. I think I'm gonna cultivate 34.
Diablo del Toro, this is your video, man. Glad to stop by. What kind of wheel do you have there, Flash?
Shop.
Thor, I caught the race via telemetry. I watched a stream where they showed the telemetry. Then I just watched the race highlights a little bit ago.
Could use lime.
Saw your man Verstappen won. Wasn't really sure why they kept Hamilton out all that.
Point, it's probably over.
When the telemetry seemed to be pretty obvious that he was losing ground every
Yeah, it's
lap
down
that
by
he
the
didn't
train
hit.
tracks, but it's way down that other road, the one that goes north, almost up to the forest.
In
If
the
you look
end,
on the
he
map,
just
you'll see the road going north.
they
and
let
you'll
him
see the
lose
train
too much
sidetrack
time.
that
He
turns
couldn't
off
gain
to
it
the
back.
right, heads up into the valley. You're right there where the train track switches off. That's where the line point is.
Big spreader.
What'd you call her?
Guidance steering.
The big spreader.
Hit the wrong button.
I think they have an even
There we
bigger
go.
one in the new game.
Good.
Fertilizer spreader?
Like a lime / fertilizer spreader. It's a Breedle, just like the. 'Cause I saw a picture of it. It was hooked onto the cloth. What you call it thing where the hitch is like a gooseneck up between the wheels of the tractor. And it was red, just like the big one we got now, but it was just a little bit larger, bigger capacity.
I know there's a Lizard. No, there's an Amazon 3-point fertilizer spreader that's like 40 some meters.
Ooh, yeah, I saw that one. That's nice. I like that little spreader. That's the widest I've ever seen one like that be before.
You know, it'd be nice.
I mean, you'd
if they
fling
made-
through your product pretty quick.
Yeah, I bet.
it'd be
Well,
nice
Flash,
if they
I asked you
made
what kind of
those
wheel you had. You never answered.
Manure spreaders be able to throw lime because they can.
I mean, for me, I just plug it in, it works.
Have they ever done that in real life? I've never seen that done in real life on one of those things
I've
before.
seen it where they throw. It's not your really fine ground lime. It's like chunky lime.
Okay.
And
Lime
then
that's
they
been
do-
outside and got wet.
Yeah, and then they do the same with like chunky potash. Like they'll
Mhm.
use it. Well, I don't know if it's fertilizer spreader, but it's got like that grinder rear end kind of looking thing.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
I've seen them do it on YouTube.
that makes sense. Because normally when lime gets wet like that, you pretty much can't do much with it because it's like chunks. But
Yeah,
that's
this-
a good idea, chucking it into a manure spreader. I never thought about doing that with it.
Yeah, this isn't like. Yeah, they just like. I think they scoop it just kind of like they don't pulverize or anything. It just kind of gets tossed in there.
Yeah, just shovel it up, dump it in the back, and take off with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually a really smart idea.
I don't know. I've got a Thrustmaster. Thrustmaster just seems to work.
You can kind of tell it's like, oh, it's not as.
I know Logitech
Normally
owners
you wouldn't be able to
swear
use it
by
if you dumped your
Logitech,
lime outside, for example, because you didn't have anywhere to
but
keep it.
all I
You're
ever
trying to
hear
do
out of
fields
Logitech
all spread, and you had a sudden rainstorm. Well, there goes your lime pile.
owners is how they have to run
So
the
is it-
profiler and
It's not the.
how they have to
fertilizer
launch
pipeline,
ATS
is it?
first and then
The lime.
farm
No,
sim.
no,
And
it's up there by coastal
sounds like an
feed.
awful lot of
Right
effort.
beside coastal feed, the place where you buy your pig food.
North of 47.
Yeah, if you're looking at the right north of 47. That road goes down and it separates 48 and 49, 47, 46, and right as the road turns and goes by the tip of 45, there's a driveway that goes in there, and you'll see coastal feed and the lime at some point.
See where I'm at, it'd be like, yeah, down there by Bubba's, you know. I don't know the area well enough yet.
Gregory,
That's
the
funny.
map is
You
based
head up there to Terry's and take a look.
on the eastern shore of Virginia,
Go about 3 clicks that way, and when you see the old oak tree, hang a right. And
approximately
around
60
here,
miles
Unincorporated area.
east
It's
of
not really
Richmond,
town,
Virginia.
right.
And they'll be
is
like, yeah, you head
the,
up there to Tuckahoe and take a left.
Mythical place.
Of course, only people who live here know where Tuckahoe is. Like, no
Right.
one else knows what the hell Tuckahoe is.
Exactly.
Which is, it's nothing more than what used to be a little corner store,
Yep. That's funny.
and now it's not even there anymore. But everybody still calls that place Tuckahoe. New people are like, what the hell? I'm like, yeah, you're never gonna learn.
And that's why your new generation that's coming up now are spoiled, because if they use a GPS and they just follow that, even if it tells them the wrong way to go, you know.
Yeah, oh boys, they
That's back in the day before they had GPS. And my boy would be like, well, how did you ever navigate without GPS?
Yeah, this paper thing called a map.
Right, exactly. We knew how to read back in the day.
You knew where places like Tuckyho were,
Right.
and then
Sure enough.
you knew to take a left at Tuckyho's.
You also spend a heck of a lot longer time figuring out how to get somewhere if you're going on a trip.
True.
Well, I learned, like I was taught how the interstate system works. If I usually have clearly defined signs in a general direction, I don't need a map most of the time until I get off of the interstate.
Right, exactly. That's me too.
Ah, hell, I hit the wrong freaking button and unloaded all this crap.
Now you gotta load it all back up again.
Just leave it.
Nah.
You'd think you wouldn't have hours in farm sim.
Well, I had to remap my open and close button because the 82 Studios crap.
See, what you gotta realize, Wednesday we'll be starting all over it again.
Well, it's not crap. It's beautiful. You use a controller.
Had to remap all my key bindings just to use this stuff.
It works with a controller. The map does have plenty of trees.
Which stuff of his did you have to remap for?
Pretty much everything.
Hmm.
You load anything that has a cover. Pretty much guaranteed in no longer opens and closes the cover. You have to have a button. And it breaks non 82 Studio trailers.
Well,
Yeah.
I can tell you that the lime close point works because it just threw my tractor out of there.
That's funny. So get out of here, you're done.
All of a sudden, my tractor went flying sideways, and I was like, what the? So that works.
Yeah, modders that don't want to follow the normal key conventions, they shouldn't be modding, really, because they jack it up for everybody else. And then they usually have an attitude when you confront them about it.
Yeah. Diesel, well, I did too, but Diesel mentioned it to him. He's like, it works fine for me. I use a controller.
Well, see, when I was at
Conversation's
FS19,
over.
when I was a senior tester over there, I would fail mods for doing stuff like that. And people would get mad at me, and I say, deal with it. You make it according to game standard, or I'm not going to pass it. End of story.
And then I had an issue where it was when I was doing the pre-release tour on Sus with Nitrodad. I had the mod in where you can just hit W and it starts your engine. And if his stuff was activated, I couldn't hit W. It would start the engine, but it wouldn't move. The only way would be to turn the engine off, turn the engine on with the normal keystroke, and then you could drive. But if you just hit W, you weren't getting out of park.
That's crazy.
You take his trucks out, works perfect.
Yep. Well,
Yeah,
in that kind
works
of
fine.
situation.
I use a controller, works fine.
Yeah, that kind of situation for me, I'll just do without his trucks. It ain't worth the hassle.
So I think Diesel fixed the 82 Studio trucks that are on the Sus server because of that. He
But
went
did you
in,
remap them?
and then he fixed, well, I don't know, whatever was screwed up in the mod, he basically fixed it so it works like every other normal vehicle should work.
Cool.
On the Lime 34, if you want to plane it, Lime. or not.
Oh, you remember the old Hofbergman on 17 where it had that fertilized texture?
Mm-hmm.
When you flung fertilizer, it puts little dots down. That
Mm-hmm.
was so nice.
Instead of it just being wet.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the wet by itself is not really realistic for dry fertilizer.
All right, the flour mill, where's all the info at?
You go around to the front where the office is, where the security camera is looking down at you. That's the info trigger.
All right. It told me not to dump before checking in, but that didn't do that.
Yeah, you didn't listen, did you? You didn't read the sign.
Anybody cut poplar yet?
Well, I hear that Klein loves cutting poplar, so I didn't bother
Aaron
with it.
tried.
Poplar's really fun now that there's a big giant header and a motto.
Yeah, totally unrealistic, but anyway.
I wouldn't
But it's-
mind it if.
But it's cool looking.
There's a
Yeah, I
nice
wouldn't
mound
mind it if
of
there's
grass field.
maybe a little bit bigger planter, you know. Actually, I think it'd be really cool if the little guys were animated in the back, throwing the poplar saplings in like they're supposed to be, because that in-game planter for poplar and saplings, there has to be a person in the back.
Right.
Yeah. Because all that thing does is dig and fill a trough. It doesn't actually plant. The person that's in the back of it plants it.
There you go.
Am I going the wrong way? Probably. I
There
get
you
lost
go.
on this damn map.
This map is not out. That's why it says
It's-
pre-release map testing in the title.
It's like driving at home here. There's so many roads that don't go anywhere.
We still have some more testing to do with respect to seasons.
Just like the East Coast. It's like, oh,
Goal
surely
is to
this
have it
road's
out by
gonna
the
take
end of the
you where
month.
You need to go. Nope. 3 counties over. You're like, how the hell did I get here?
It goes to Tucker's Corner. You don't know where Tucker's Corner is.
Yeah.
You're screwed.
I know where yeah.
Well, it's like turn right at the old chicken.
Yeah.
Well, you'll figure it out when you get there and you see this giant old chicken sign.
Now, if you get to the Baptist church, you've gone too far. Well, which Baptist church? There's 4 of them.
Here's some more trees encroaching on the field. Down on field 14.
Yeah, I saw those when I first went in there and looked at everything after we got it in the game. I thought, you know what, I think I'll just leave those there because I want it to look like it's been here a while and you're new to the area and you got a lot of work ahead of you. You've got to clean up stuff.
Well, yeah.
Well, you can sit there and go, well, the last farmer was able to put a big field of wheat in there with all those trees. I guess I can too.
No. They're gonna come in with a giant tree deleter. Delete all the trees out, probably within a 20-meter radius of the fields.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, this cedar's too dang big for half these things. But I picked it because I didn't want to spend 2 hours doing 2 fields.
Right.
Is that from the Bergalt pack? That one?
Yeah,
Yeah, it looks good too. That's a nice cedar.
That is,
8 meters.
Yep. Stuff is so horsepower dependent though, but it's really
So-
nice.
Yeah. I mean, 17 and 18 and 16, those are nice. 3 nice little fields. Flat. You don't need a big seeder. You don't need a big horsepower tractor. I mean, field 14 here has got some rolling hills to it, so you would want something with power there. We're going to do field 15 next, which is across the street. It's got a
Yeah,
big
that's larger
big
flat
tree
fields.
in the middle.
larger flat fields up in the valley area going around towards the lake, because I wanted it to look like a valley that went all the way back into where the sinkhole is, where the water is.
Yeah. GoldenEye was asking if you could even use 100 horsepower tractors on the map, and you definitely can, because 12 and 13 are relatively flat, as is 9, 8, 7, 10, 6. 5 isn't too terrible bad. It gets really hilly more toward the middle of the old section.
Yeah, I really wanted this map to be not like Nebraska lands. I didn't want it to have giant fields and require giant equipment. It was designed for like 6-meter stuff and 9-meter stuff. You might have to have a stronger tractor on the hilly areas, of course, but you don't have to have really big implements.
Well, I mean, around here, your fields are basically where the land allows you to put them.
Right.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
every field is probably surrounded by. I mean, if you move this dang big tree out of the way, it'd be nice. Since you do have a big wad of grass right here. Move it back 5 feet, it would be perfect. You know, so pretty much every field is surrounded by trees. You know, and the only fields that aren't, the areas that aren't fields are probably so hilly that you can't really farm it, so you put grass there.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Or like here, it's usually it's where there's such heavy water runoff. It's, you know, down in the gullies and stuff is what I call. That's where they don't ever have anything planted.
Yeah, you can't plant there because it'd wash your seeds all into the ditch.
Yeah,
First time you get a big rain.
No, that's, I mean, yeah, where I'm at, it's very similar to this. It's just, you don't have fields on top of fields. It's like you have a field and then woods and then field and then woods.
I'm gonna do one more round and then we'll
Then here they just pretty much grow cows. That's about it.
fill in the middle.
Grow cows.
It's, they don't really, I mean, all they ever do is put cows in the pasture and cut hay a few times a year. There's
What
a
did you
couple
think of the cow animations in that animal video?
That was pretty good. I did. Are the bees, like, do you interact with them or are they just passive?
We know they make honey.
You're probably going to have to collect the honey from them, which would be a good idea.
Well, yeah, because I mean, I saw the person in the beekeeper outfit and I'm like, is that just like a fun thing or is that actual, like, you have to do something with it, you know?
Because we had bees in 2013, but they were just passive bee houses. You just placed them and they had an animation of bees flying in and out of them. And that was it. You know, they gave you an hourly income.
That's, yeah.
I don't know, Gregory. I've pretty much given up course play. I've had
These
too
look to
many
be a bit more advanced
angry
than that.
aggravations with it.
So you're hoping a wardrobe theme where someone pop up and say you're not equipped to work in this outfit or something.
Yeah, that would be cool, actually.
Yeah,
There's been some
I mean,
questions in the comments of the videos. Is there a penalty if you don't wear the bee outfit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
like you get stung and you can't work for 3 days because you have a allergic reaction?
I mean, I know that there's not going to really be an input to the bees, but it'd be neat if, like, I don't know, if it made you do something or.
I mean, you can have to input the bees.
Your vision gets all dark. And
Or
You can have to- You can have to buy the hive and then buy the bees, and then maybe the bees die off
frames or
periodically. And you have to buy more bees or something. Kind of like the Farmer Andy stuff, but I don't think it's going to be that involved.
Yeah.
get two hives too close to each other, and then they fight and kill each other, and they're all dead.
I mean, I wouldn't sleep in tomorrow.
Thanks. I'm gonna sleep in either way, but
Just saying.
as late
It's
as
Monday,
my kids, as late as my
Monday
kids
morning,
let
you
me.
probably don't want to sleep in and miss any groundbreaking information that might come out of international news sources.
At least as late as my kids will let me, which is like 6:30 during the week.
Translation: FK knows something, but he can't say anything about it.
I like what Tukey said, wear beekeeper outfit or die. It's game over.
Right. Game over. Because either
You got out of the tractor with your
released.
PTO running. You died.
Oh man, that's harsh.
All kinds of stuff.
Well, you know, we've had, you know, we saw the beekeeper's outfit, we saw honey in the production chain blog post. So, you know, you kind of knew bees were a thing. Wasn't that big of a surprise.
Yeah, I just didn't know if like it was just like we've had in the past, where it's just a beehive and then it generates an hourly income, you know. But
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't know if it was that, and then the beekeeper outfit was just a fun thing.
And then there was a press release at the end of the week about pollination for canola, potatoes, and sunflowers.
I didn't see that.
It was in my greenhouse video.
I didn't watch that at all.
Uh-oh.
Wrong answer.
I haven't
Didn't
had
watch the
time.
video? Oh, for shame, dude.
I slept 21 hours the other day after I got home from work with my half-broken hip.
Yeah, like I said, Raz ain't hip anymore, man. God,
And then today we were on Yukon River Valley mining gold, and it was really funny because it was just, I should have recorded it, but I didn't.
So,
that's a 16x map. No one's ever played it. It's kind of neat.
so yeah, you get a yield bonus if you place beehives in proximity to canola, sunflower, or potato fields.
Okay.
yeah, that's
I can
cool.
see that.
That's a
Those are
nice
flowering-
feature.
Those are flowering plants.
Well, that'll be a mod that's going to have to go in and get subdued a little, because I'm not putting those things that look like you're at a preschool tote center out in the middle of my field.
Oh, come on. They look pretty.
they're-
Red, white, yellow, blue.
I remember in 17 there was a little cart that was a beehive, and if you put it near a canola field you got like more money per hour. I remember that.
Oh, that's cool. I never heard of that one.
Yeah, it was in 17. It was a little mobile beehive, and depended on where, if it was in a field with canola or sunflowers or grass, I think you got more income per hour. But it had to be planted grass, or I can't remember.
I remember a cart, but I didn't know anything about the money per hour bonus around certain
yeah,
fields.
Yeah, it was if it was in the field with like a canola or something, you got more money per hour. And it must have worked like a greenhouse. You know how you get so much if there's water, and then so much if there's water manure. It probably triggered something where it's like, oh,
Gave you increased yield or more money per hour, I guess, basically.
yeah, it didn't do anything to the field yield. It just gave you more money for the bee production. Which is pretty neat. Your lime textures are working. I don't know if anybody's limed yet. Everything looks pretty good.
And then I like Giant's new way of doing it better, because you would actually get an increased yield if you had the bees nearby. It wouldn't pay you more, but because you know people are going to mod that thing to where every single crop will get increased yields, even though they don't realistically do that.
I like watching remember what the YouTube channel was. There was a bee guy. I cannot remember his name. But he had a mobile, it was a 50-something foot semi-trailer. And he traveled all over and would pay, they'd pay him so much per month to leave his beehive trailer there.
Oh, cool.
Yep. And it was pretty neat, actually. There's a lot of beehives here where I'm at, a lot. You see them everywhere. Beekeeping's pretty big here.
I think we'll see a lot of beehives on farms soon.
But yeah, here it's pretty big. There's a doctor I work with. He got into beekeeping because he had a patient one time that didn't have any money. He was just a mountain guy, and I guess the doctor was like, well, hey, just whatever you can pay me. And the guy's like, well, I can give you some beehives. And the doctor I work with is like, okay.
Sure.
He's like, I don't know anything about him. The guy's like, I'll teach you everything. I'll teach you everything, if you'll take it as trade. And the doctor's like, sure. So he did. And now he's got like 50, 60 hives. And he actually bottles it and sells it and everything.
Look at that. It's the payment that keeps on paying.
Oh, yeah. He said it was the best decision he ever made because he loves doing it. And so he found out he tries to find natural bees, like people who have naturally occurring hives, and he'll go take them down because they produce way better than anything you can buy. Like if you buy you can buy queens and stuff, but he says the natural mountain ones produce
wild bees over.
Oh, he said they're way
semi-domesticated.
way harder. Yep. Yeah, he says you don't want the domestic. They're a little tougher to deal with because they get a little more. They're a little more ornery. But he says they put out honey and they don't die. His domesticated bought stuff dies all the time. They'll just have whole hives. But he calls them mountain bees. They don't ever die.
So, would you say they're the bee's knees?
They're the bee's knees.
Oh my gosh, you honey.
Yeah. Yeah, he's told me a lot about we're just talking, you'll be doing cases for hours. Just find stuff to talk about. Yeah. He'd bring us honey every now and then. He's a pretty good guy. One of the nicer doctors, just kind of a local guy older guy, just farmer at heart, really.
General practice.
Well, he's a urologist, but his family's from here. He grew up on a farm here, still owns his parents' farm. Like it just one of those farm kids that went to college. That's what he always says.
Let's see, did you fix this collision? Yep.
There's a couple of them I work with that are like that. One of them, we had a general surgeon. He loved cars. He actually built a Model T. He'd rebuild it.
Oh, cool.
He used to drive it into work and stuff all the time.
Double DZ.
All the time. He's like, why'd you become a doctor? He said, so I can have cars. That's what he'd say.
He could afford them. All right. That's cool.
Yeah.
Kerry says he's got a friend that transport bees on a 53-foot flatbed.
Yeah, there was a guy on YouTube that I've seen it. I don't know if he's still on there, but I've seen some videos where that's what he does. That's pretty neat. There's a guy on YouTube that does goats. He takes goats to he'll put in a mobile electric fence and he'll like clear out entire areas for people. And the goats like will knock down the brush, and I mean they just clear it out in no time.
Oh yeah.
And he does a lot of work for like the Forestry Service and national parks, and I originally saw him because they had him on a local thing here where they have like kudzu that overgrows, and I guess the goats just eat the crap out of that. Well, I was gonna buy lime to finish liming this, but I can't because
Well, YouTube's kind of remarkable like that. I seen accidentally where you could learn how to shave your beaver.
Okay.
You know, we'll get you a Manscaped lawnmower.
Well, what if you don't have a
beaver?
What if you don't have a beaver?
Well, you get the crop preserver to save your tomatoes.
There you go.
But if you want to learn, it's on YouTube.
I'm ready to sleep.
You can find about everything on YouTube these days.
Oh yeah, there's no reason.
Well, great. I'm going under the map. Okay.
See you later, Darren.
No more place for new apple trees.
We got biogas income.
Yeah, we have one pallet sitting up there. Yep, I'm under the map.
I'm bringing the trailer. You just gotta hit E to exit the vehicle. Wait, oh, I can't drive through the hedges, Raz. That's right. I actually have a collision.
Yeah, these are realistic hedges here, man. They're not the fake ones you drive through.
Somebody needs to come through here and get these. This is terrible. Infestation of weeds.
Yeah, look at all them weeds.
That's pretty bad.
They be nasty.
How the hell do you get over to where you're at, Darren?
Through that field that I just harvested.
Field 11.
I really hope they do something about weeds in 22.
I want the weeds to look more like the ones that they did with seasons, because that
Yeah,
made the
where
weeds. They're a whole lot more natural that way, because that's the way
Where
real
they're
weeds do. They just
sporadic,
pop up. Yeah, they don't cut blanket the whole field.
Yeah.
but
I mean, I get
Stop it.
why. You can hire a helper to weed an entire field of weeds. You can't hire a helper to weed spots.
True.
well, we do know that there's going to be a few, like, depending on what cultivation you use, right?
It'll be lesser or more weeds depending on whether you use a disc harrow or a cultivator or whatever. That's why I get so miffed when I see a disc harrow in the mod hub that's been set to be a plow, because there's no way in the world that thing's really a plow. Discs don't go down that deep. Now, if you have something that's like a vertical tillage device, you know, it'll have disc blades on it, but it also has those big ripper shanks too, and it'll get down deep. But even those don't turn the dirt over the way a plow does. They just rip up the hard pan. So anyway, who needs
Double
realism?
GD
Right?
wants to know how your hip is.
Oh, it's better.
Raz says it's hip to
I
be
just-
square, man.
I really didn't want to miss work because, like, it cost me like 25 hours at PTO. Because I don't get sick pay at all.
Oh, your place does PTO like Walmart does, doesn't it?
You got like
That's
8
right.
weeks, don't you?
A PTO.
Yeah.
Well, I accrue it, so accrue it based upon hours worked, and I have
Right.
I have plenty in my bank, but I hate using it because
Hard to get.
it's like a savings account. You like it when it's there, but you hate when you have to take it out.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna use like 80 hours here in November because I'm taking 2 full weeks off of work to play.
Now, did
Farmland.
Do they give you, is it only PTO or do you get anything that's like for sick only?
So I get extended sick leave. But you have to be out for 24 hours before it kicks in.
Oh, so you would need at least 24 hours of regular PTO to cover you
Yeah,
while you were
so,
out. While you were out. Okay, I
so
got you.
yeah, I'll actually get a couple hours because I have such long shifts. Like my shifts are over 30. My scheduled shifts are 13 and a half hours. So,
Ouch.
if I'll miss last night. I'm not working tonight either, so it'll chew it up. And I'm sure I'll get an email. They'll be like, "Oh, you missed work, blah 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 blah." I'm gonna be like, "Yep, okay." Really?
Yeah, see, I can carry over 150 hours a year.
Yeah, I can carry quite a bit, and I had a bunch, but I had a whole lot, and then when COVID hit, they cut hours, and so I was going in late. So I was using 5 or 6 hours every week because they just didn't need me, and I like chewed through my bank pretty good.
What do you mean they didn't need you? There was plenty of people falling off their motorcycles dying of COVID.
Well, it's because they didn't do any. Remember when it first hit? They didn't do any elective stuff or nothing. So what it was is people during the day weren't getting their hours, but
God.
so they were volunteering to stay over. And I was like, oh, everybody kind of took a hit. So everybody kind of was like, everybody cut their hours so that everybody would have hours, kind of deal. Yeah, because I was like, kinda,
So, due to lack of work, the hospital is now only open from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Please try to plan your emergencies accordingly.
yeah.
Mm-mm.
But it was, I chewed through about 100 hours. Like I had 100 and something hours in my bank Friday when I checked it, but I'm gonna use 26. So, and then a month from now I'm gonna use another 80. So I'm not gonna have a whole lot left in the bank, but it builds up. I get
No idea,
8.5
Chris.
hours every paycheck.
That's
Yeah.
not bad. That's a good.
'Cause I've been there so long, it builds up really fast. And I don't really call in sick, so.
Now, do
People
they
all the
do?
time-
Do they do performance reviews of you every now and then that affects the rate of earning the PTO?
I've capped out. Like I can't get any more.
Gotcha.
I've maxed out. Yeah.
Let's see where
I'm
my
pretty
wife
much-
works at. They'll, if the guy that's reviewing you don't like you too well, he'll drop your review rating just a little bit, and then that's harmful because that lowers your percentage of PTO per hour that you earn. See, and then that affects you in the long run because it means you end up getting a little bit less per month or whatever. That sucks.
Yeah, I've capped everything. Like, although this year I actually did get so normally I just get a really small, what they call paper performance raise, which for like the last 6 years has been less than 3%. Because it's based upon hospital profitability.
Right.
Well, that hasn't been great. So, but this year I actually got a big bump because we've been losing people because everybody's leaving to move to other areas that pay way better.
Well, we're
Yeah.
here to put you back together as long as it's in our best interest.
Right.
That's
And as long as you got deep pockets.
well, I mean, and the thing in my area is I work at what they call a tertiary medical center, which is like the last line. So we take care of the sickest of the sick, and they pay comparative. So what happens is people are there 3-5 years, and they get tired of like taking care of the sickest of the sick, and then they just go down the street and do the exact same job on people that aren't as sick, and they don't have to work holidays, they don't have to work weekends, and they get paid the exact same. And it's just like, I mean, I get it, you know. I'm just too stubborn to quit.
I don't know. Maybe you need to go down the street too.
Nah, I'm kind of a junkie for the
For the blood and guts.
dude. You never know what you're gonna get. Never know what you're gonna get. I can't even. I'm not gonna say what they were, and I'm not even gonna give the details. But Friday night they pulled 10 foreign bodies out of somebody's stomach. That's all I'm gonna say.
Ow.
I've never seen. Let's just say if this was if this guy had signed up for Fear Factor, he would have won. Because
So it was worse than just being a mule, huh?
It's like, what?
I can't go into detail because it's way too specific that someone, you know. But it's just like
Gerbils.
Some of the shit I see, you're just like, what in the world?
You makes you wonder.
Yeah. But no. Plus, I have a really good crew I work with on the weekends. There's just so few of us, and it's just, I don't know.
The thing is, though, I think in the long run, is job happiness. I mean, you can take a job that maybe is a little bit less than ideal if it's something you enjoy doing and you're happy when you're there working.
So, and
you know.
yeah, my thing is even as bad, like when it's bad, it's bad. But I mean, there's times where I get to play video games. Get paid,
Oh, okay,
so,
gotcha. Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's when it's busy, and when it's not, it's not. And there's not a whole lot of jobs.
There,
that
we need to do a lower application rate
let me
because
do
we
that.
haven't scanned any of these fields.
I get
Lower.
4 days off every week, and I mean that's.
I worked
and I make pretty good
worked
money.
worked a call center one time, and it was not the best pay in the world, but it was okay, you know. And of course, at a call center, you have mandatory overtime if you get stuck on a call or whatever. But then they volunteered. They had a thing where they wanted volunteers to work on this holiday, and since I was, you know, basically by myself, I'm like, ah, sure, I'll work it, you know, no worries. And so, because I already had my full 40 hours of work week, that means that holiday is going to be overtime pay. So, which is cool. And then not only that, but you get paid for the holidays. That basically means that I was getting double time and time and a half for that one 8-hour day that I worked. So I was basically getting 2.5 times more than my regular pay rate. And I went in and everything to do my job. And you know, that whole 8-hour day, I got one call. And the call was only about 10 minutes or so, and then I resolved their issue, and then I'm off, and I'm done. I'm there on my headset all day, but I got to play video games the entire day. I didn't have to do nothing. And to get that kind of pay to just play games, that was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only time that's ever happened to me.
But no, the other thing that's really hurting acute care medical hospitals is so agencies. So agency nursing is just blown up. Back when I first started, like, it was very rare to see agency nurses because they were so expensive. And then, so what's happened is pretty much anyone who's in their 20s, not married and without kids, they're all joining these agencies. And they take these 13-week contracts out of state, and they make, I mean, like, an ICU nurse can go to California right now and make $8,000 a week.
Wow.
A week.
Mm-mm-mm.
Oh, so
And-
those are the traveling nurses.
Yes, and it's huge.
But
And they
don't
have-
worry, they'll take like $6,000 away from her before she leaves.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I've never done it, but we had traveling nurses in the OR because we just didn't have enough staff. And this was right before COVID hit, and I know what they were paying them. They were paying them twice what they were paying me. And what happens is these young kids are like, well, I mean, I have years of experience. I've been doing this for 2 or 3 years, and they sign up, and they'll go. I know a girl that just left where I'm at, and she only traveled an hour and a half away from her house, and they're paying
Isaac,
over
what's up?
$4,700 a week to do the exact same job she's doing where I'm at. A week, $4,700 a week.
It's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. And
But
you
she's
just-
got a high tax rate now too, though.
Yeah, that, and then you got to pay for your lodging and stuff too. That but still, but it's still
It's good money though,
yes, it's very good money.
and it would be worth the taxes and the lodging to be able to get it.
So what's happening is you don't.
I'd be
you're not-
driving an RV.
Yeah, there's the guy that used to work. He's been traveling for years. He's got a big fifth wheel camper. That's what he does. He just travels all over the United States. But he told me he'll as a nurse, as a registered nurse, in the last 10 years, he's never made less than $100,000 a year traveling, and he only works like 30 weeks, he said, or something like that. So it's crazy the amount of money they can make. And then that's what's happened is that I call it the contagion. So these young kids meet these travel nurses, and the travel nurses are like, oh yeah, you can make way more money doing the same thing, and that's what happens. And now we can't keep anybody. They're there for 3 to 5 years, and then they're gone. Because once they get the experience and the resume, then they just go.
Yeah, once they have a resume that'll let them get one of those better jobs, and it's like, see ya.
So like the only people you got staying are the people have family ties and all that stuff, and it's hard to keep new blood. It's really hard.
Rabbit Rob at the super chat. Rabbit Rob
So
says, can't wait to get on this map to do some farming. We gotta get seasons tested.
Well, Seasons Mask is almost finished. I'm working on it actually right now as we speak.
The seasons would be a quick test though, right?
Yeah, it won't take a whole lot to test it because just got to make sure the textures all change properly and everything. All the seasons, admirers, all that stuff's already done.
Yeah, healthcare's got all kinds of problems. You got aging population. I mean, that's all the boomers.
Hmm.
They're retiring and then becoming patients, so it's just kind of like a double-edged sword.
Shot
Well,
mandates.
The
That doesn't
younger
help either. Yep.
the younger workforce that is money motivated, that's a problem everywhere.
Yep. Yeah, it's because that's all they worry about is they're like, well, I can make $1 more an hour here, so they just leave,
Yeah.
and then I can
So-
make $1 more here, and they just leave, and it's just like,
Yeah. So you try to train up somebody. That's our problem. We can't afford to buy someone that's properly trained. So everybody I hire, basically, I have to train them, or basically acknowledge that they need to train themselves. So it means everything gets done a hell of a lot slower than it could. And about the time you get somebody comfortable and able to move along, it's like, I'm going to go this other place and double what I make. Okay, well, I can't pay you what the market says I should pay you because we just can't do it. So, yeah. So then you start all over again.
yep.
And these are for positions that you really are not positions that you want brand new people in.
Do we need a trailer load of oats for anything before I go find a place to sell it?
No, no animals. We already tested the mill.
Yeah, I think.
Has anybody tested the wood chip sell point yet?
No, but poplars look like they're ready. If somebody wants to, I can grab a poplar harvester if somebody wants to follow me.
Alright. Sounds good.
I'm almost done liming this field, and then but yeah, Klein, I think it's that way everywhere. And then, you know, I try to talk to these kids. Like, I guess it's just my old age kicking in. Because I actually take, like, trying to teach younger people. Because I'm like, one of these days I'm going to need somebody to take care of me. So there's a lot of nurses that eat their young, is what they call it. And I'm not one of those. Like, I've never been that way. I've always thought that was awful. So I always try to be, like, really helpful and supportive, and, you know, and you talk to them, and, like, you know, a lot of these kids, they're like, I don't, you know, I don't want to work more than 40 hours a week ever. Like, their free time, they've placed a huge importance on their free time. And
I
like,
think
there's a lot of them that they're not
No.
worried about.
I don't know where you
making
hear
lots of
that
money.
from, but no, that's not what goes on.
They're just worried about making just enough, and then
If you're at a job that
enjoying
pays
their
next to
time.
nothing, you're not getting any health
It's kind
benefits.
of a different mindset. There's a bunch of kids like that now.
If they're not
Well,
willing to
that'll
pay
get
money,
worse if they
they're
manage
not
to pay
willing
off
to
their
provide you
college
health
loans
benefits either.
Yeah.
for the government free.
The thing is, a lot of these kids who are not worried about money, most of them still live with mom and dad. You know, they're like 25, 26, 27 years old, and they're still living with mom and dad. And there's like one girl I work with. She just got back from hiking Everest. You know, she just does that. She lives with her mom and dad, and she'll take like these extravagant. And she's like, "Oh yeah, I don't want to have a family or kids or any of that stuff. I just want to travel." And you're just like, okay, well, you know, whatever makes you happy, but it's just a different, I don't know. Again, I think it's just different. Times are changing, and people look at the world different.
Yeah, if somebody's
It's like
not
the
willing
tiny
to
house
pay,
generation.
you know, if someone's paying minimum wage, you're not getting any health benefits. Other than what the absolute minimum that the government might or the state might
forage harvester somewhere on it.
mandate upon an employer.
Oh, it's all the way over here. We're
Yeah,
not
so I
driving
mean,
right
we
across.
since obviously we're a higher education institution, we employ a fair number of student workers to do stuff, and as an end result, we end up hiring a fair number of our own graduates, and a lot of time it's trying to tell them it's not always about money. You can go work somewhere and make a lot of money, but you might not enjoy any minute of it. You know, you might not enjoy a dang bit of it. So, you know, getting up every day and not hating your job is worth a lot. But until they experience getting up every morning and absolutely hating their job or hating their boss or having to drive 2 hours to go 45 miles to their work because they can't afford to live next to their work, it gets old fast. And then, you know,
You lose your joy at working, and you don't want to do it anymore.
making a lot less starts looking a lot more attractive.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm at a point in my life where I don't work. Like, I don't go searching out overtime. Like, I just don't do that anymore. Or, you know, even a few years back, I would always sign up for all the extra shifts I could. And I don't do that anymore. I just,
No, you get to a point where the time that you have free is worth more than the money you can get by working.
yeah. And then I actually live, Flossie and I live a fairly humble existence. Like, we don't live very extravagant lives, and you know, we don't have a giant house, and we don't have brand new cars, and
You don't have 6 cars in the driveway.
no, I mean, it's not that we don't live a comfortable life, because I mean, I'm very blessed beyond what a lot of people have, but at the same time, like, we don't do crazy stuff, you know. Like, my most expensive thing I own is this computer that I built 2 years
Oh,
ago.
the cement
Like,
pond there, Mr. Master?
What, the pool? It's fiberglass above ground. It's not even cement. It's not even a thing.
Yeah, can't afford an in-ground pool.
Yeah. No, like, I mean, you know, that was stimulus money. That's what that was. That wasn't even.
This poll's brought to you by the government.
Yeah.
That stimulates the economy by paying working people and non-working people the same.
So we had saved up a bunch of money to take like a big Florida trip, a big Universal, and stay there a couple of weeks. And I don't know. We just decided to kind of invest in our home. Plus, Cole, the little guy with autism, he does fine when we travel, but I mean, every time we've been somewhere, like, after a couple of days, he's like, he just wants to go home, and then he gets kind of unhappy, and finally we just were like, you know, let's just make our house a great place to be, and then we don't mind staying at home. I got my home bodies.
So,
Sounds cool.
Scooter says
Yeah.
you're lucky because the most expensive thing he owns is his wife.
Yeah, I saw that. That's funny.
No, Flossie's
Yeah.
not bad. She'll spend every now and then, but she's not bad.
Mine's not bad on the spending part, but especially since she's the primary worker right now. But she likes to travel, and when you travel, you got to spend money. She's been walking the walls because we can't do a whole lot of traveling because of COVID right now.
But like Flossie and our dream is like an Airstream
Oh, that's nice. Yeah,
and a pink flamingo that we can put out in front of it. Like, that's just kind of our. that's what we want.
that's cool.
Indeed, Delilah, indeed. Working for higher ed has its
Doesn't have to be
benefits.
anything too fancy.
Ours is going next fall, and all she's got to pay for is room and board. All right, you ready to popular?
Darren's behind me already,
Okay.
but yeah, you can come.
I'm standing over here watching grass grow while I paint Season's Mask.
It only goes 4 miles per hour with poplar.
I think these guys have seen enough to 15.
Yeah, it only goes slow. Poplar, Darren.
Rando Gaming, what's up?
I see
Oh
the guys that
no!
modded that cool one in the mod hub. They don't realize what's really going on when you cut poplar. It's cutting down a whole small tree and grinding it up into chips. And you can only do that so fast. You wouldn't be able to run a forage harvester like that in real life if you had the rows that wide, because it would choke the thing down.
And the other great thing is my gaming hobby is supported by wonderful viewers at home now.
Oh, that's awesome too.
I know. I never thought it would ever happen. And I'm like so amazed still.
I've actually considered making videos of me working on maps, maybe, or
I'm telling you,
doing
there's
things like that. You know.
you have a huge knowledge base, and if you put it out there, I people would love it.
Maybe like a
And-
video a week or something where I'm doing something on a map, and as I'm doing it, I just kind of talk through it and explain what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and
Heck yeah, man.
you know, something like that. That might be nice for a small channel, maybe. I don't know. Been thinking
Mapping
about it.
tutorials.
Yeah, something like that.
Everybody always wants. I would like to learn how to make a map. Well, you gotta just Google it.
Yep. Education stuff. Anything educational always does.
Yeah, I might do that. I might give it a try. I'll have to get up with you gents later on and find out what's the best software to use, something that I can do for free or cheap.
We just
Free
flipping around because we ain't messing with that
Mhm.
marble things.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you jokers at?
Field 54. Oh, what the
Yeah.
heck? My track. I hit the wrong button. Sorry, Darren.
Bring us something special.
That's alright, I'm hooked trailer trying to find speed sync.
I mean, so many of those videos that are out there, and I think that's what Scooter's getting at. All it is music
Mm-hmm.
and sped up people in GE that's just flying around. You're like, this is useless.
Right.
I don't know what the hell's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time it's background music because they don't speak English.
Right.
Or they don't want to talk or whatever, but it's like, it's that what do you watch? I never understood videos that were 100% music and that's it. It's like that,
Yeah, they're
that
not-
doesn't help me hardly at all.
It's not really that educational, because if you're tuning in because you want to learn how to do something, you know, I found it hard to watch some of those myself because they go so fast. I know GE inside and out, and I still can't follow those guys sometimes what they're doing because they got it sped up.
That's why, like for the video tutorial stuff, that guy Klein that you showed me, I can't think of his name, does all the OBS stuff. Wears the glasses.
Oh, Scott, dude.
Yeah, he's so good because he breaks it down Barney style. Like he
He shows you everything.
every time he explains it, all the way down to how to find the file path.
Yeah, he doesn't.
And-
He doesn't necessarily assume you know
Mm-mm.
something
He assumes
based
you know
on
nothing.
something else.
Yep. Oh, Klein's bringing the.
Taylor.
Yep. So now we need the auto bale trailer. Of course.
You see, like what I'm doing today, where I'm working on the season's mask, I could have done a little video about that. Say this is how we put the season's mask in. You know, we add this coat here.
Alright,
add this
Raz,
coat
go
there.
grab the picker upper.
I will. Park this way.
Oh, come on. You don't like the bio baler?
That bio baler's cool, man.
I mean, it's bailing up little trees.
Alright, where's the wood chippies go? Besides the sawmill or something?
They go down there by the compost fermenters. That little facility that's on the same lot as they are. You can see where you dump it in. I didn't put a sign on it yet. I need to actually put some kind of a little sign.
Well, how about, like, say, turkey foot heights or something, or a field number?
Okay.
Oh, turkey foot height.
I'll go down there by the big oak tree and hang a right.
Well, geographically, field number wise, where is the oak tree?
Where's the BGA? That's where it is. It's by the BGA.
Okay, well, I know where that is.
Where the compost bunkers are.
thing does rounds, right?
So you saw that there's different size bales now in Farm Sim
I did.
22.
I did.
Well, at least the farmer left the tractor's width here between the field and the fences.
That's because it's on the American side.
It's on the side where they're like, we're smart.
Yeah, that's the side where the Restoration Society was not able to touch anything. They only have the valley from the Churn Valley sign inwards. All this area out here is just the normal terrain that you would encounter on the way to Churn Valley.
So they had a big, this is completely off topic, but they had a big balloon festival here this weekend. Flossie and the oldest boy, they went tonight, because they did tonight was the last night they did a night thing.
Oh, when they all light up.
Yeah, and of course, I was like, did you get any pictures? And they're like, oh.
So, was
Because
it a
I
bunch?
stayed here with a little man, because he, I don't know, he was being kind of grumpy.
So was it a bunch of hot air?
Yeah, but yeah, my oldest at first, he didn't want to go. And then, so I've been having to take him to the side and be like, listen, like, you only have so many years there left with your mom. When she asks you to do something, you really need to do it.
How old is your oldest now?
He'll be 14 soon.
He's getting in that age where
And he's like, I don't know. And I'm gonna show it when he's done. But he's building a mod pack from scratch from Minecraft. Like he's
nice.
Oh man, he is building all kinds of cool stuff. Like he's completely, so like in Minecraft you can harvest sugar cane and then you just put it in a crafting block and turn it into sugar, but no. So he went and did a bunch of research and he's making like crushers and separators and like,
That's cool.
he's like, yeah, he's all for Minecraft. And you know, it's a game, right? But
Yeah.
at the same time I'm like, man, that's really cool, man. I'm really
Well,
proud of him.
That's what he enjoys doing. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's his hobby.
And the neat thing is he's you know doing all the textures himself and he's put a lot of time into it. So he'll get like in full on modding mode. He doesn't want to leave the house and do anything. Raz, get him into D. Yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pick these up with this stupid fence here. Oh, there it goes.
Yeah, our youngest.
I made it to the
He doesn't want to
beach.
do anything. He's turned into an introvert. He was there for a year. You know, don't go out because somebody walking the street might kill you.
Right.
Because they're so disease-ridden. Everyone's disease-ridden. Even if they look healthy, they're all diseased. They just don't know it yet. Can't trust anybody. Yeah, you just ruined a generation of people.
It wasn't really like that down here where I'm at. For the most part, nobody cared. For the most part, nobody took any precautions. It was, even in full swing, it was rare to see people properly masked up like they should have been or anything. And now
Well,
that they got vaccinations out and a lot of people are vaccinated, nobody wears a mask. I was in Home Depot the other day and I was the only one in the whole store with a mask on.
No, we have highly educated Northern Virginians that are obviously terrified of everything and everybody, so.
So, I've been vaccinated 3 times.
Now you got the third one.
Yeah,
Was it that's a booster?
yeah, that one made me feel.
You know there's a narrative when they're sitting there trying to tell you that if you had COVID, that your natural immunity is not as good as that dang shot.
Yeah, that's not true at all.
It's all big business.
But and then, you know, both the boys have had it. Nicole, Flossie, I just told you guys her name. She's been vaccinated twice. And, so we don't ever wear masks anywhere with us, but.
The thing I'm concerned about is the fact that it is actually a coronavirus, and the coronavirus that drives the common cold has no cure. There's no vaccine for it.
No, it's here forever.
Because it's always mutating, and so you're going to get it no matter what. So,
Yeah,
you know,
so-
Same with the flu.
So the
That's right,
narrative
same with
that
the
this
flu.
will save you has been a big load of bullshit for day one. We all buy it. We all buy into it because, well, these people are experts. How can you be a damn expert on something that just showed up?
right.
And all I ever tell people is what I see in the data set from my hospital, and it's been this way since, you know, midsummer, is 80% of the people hospitalized for COVID are unvaccinated. It's 1 in 5.
That's what
From
they're
all-
saying.
So does it keep you out of the hospital? I believe yes. Is it guaranteed to keep you out of the hospital? Nope. But, you know, and with that information, do what you want. You know, it's like anything else. People know what's good and bad for them. You know, people who smoke know smoking's bad for them. But, you know, do we make it against the law? No, people can smoke. Like, it's, you know, you give people information and let them make their own decisions. It's called, like, being an adult. You know?
Percent on the other hand, you have, like, for example, my children can't go to school unless they have all their shots. So you have that factor. You know, there's reasons why they do that, but the thing is, too, they don't know enough about this virus yet. Really, I don't think.
Yeah, but, like, and I could be wrong, but last time I checked, the vaccinations that are required for education completely eliminate the risk of getting the disease, right? Like, you don't get measles if you're vaccinated for measles, right?
Well, not totally, because I was reading an article about that the other day, and that's really a misnomer. No vaccine is 100% effective. It's just that it eradicated most of the disease because nobody really catches it anymore. But if somebody came here from middle nowhere and they had a full-blown case of it, you might still catch it, especially if it mutates. But the point is, it lowers the risk to such a low level that the general population can basically go live in their lives and not have to worry about getting sick and dying. So,
Darren,
Yeah.
it's a crapshoot no matter what you do.
Darren, you
So-
have to go all the way over there.
So at work, they're so terrified. They're the
I
most-
don't know. You didn't tell me where to. Yeah, I heard where the bunkers are.
Let me see. Wood chip sell point. Is there just one wood chip sell point?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That
Actually,
little-
I don't see a price for wood chips anywhere.
I don't see a dump in here.
It may be that I didn't do the trigger yet. That's why I was curious to see, have you guys pop over and take a look at it, because I don't remember doing it, to be honest.
There's no price listed in the price screen for wood.
And it's probably not there then. So I'm
That's-
sorry, you can't sell them.
That's why we test them.
That's why we test stuff.
Yep.
It just occurred to me while I was thinking. I was like, wait a minute, did I put a trigger there? I don't remember
'Cause
doing that. So
I didn't know if you did on EC. You know how you have you have 2 sell points on wood chips for Emerald Coast. I didn't know.
yeah. So I gotta put that in.
Well,
I was self-diagnosing here. I was making sure we owned the property. I want to do everything before I hit that F5 and watch the slideshow.
Slideshow? You shouldn't have a slideshow. Not with that powerhouse.
That little trailer we talked about in the stream yesterday, I added that to the default vehicles now, so it'll show up at the farmer's market.
All right. Well, there's poplar bales
So-
are futile now.
So
Oh,
what Golden
just-
Eye said right there, I really got the vaccine because I was hoping I'd get a superpower. I was really hoping I would.
Yeah.
I always mess
So-
with people at work because they'll pull an X-ray machine out. Everybody's like, "You got lead on?" I'm like, "No, I'm hoping to turn into the Hulk, irradiate me. I've got this vaccine in me. I'm hoping I get a superpower."
I mean, I need something to get out of it. So I work to they're the most educated, stupid people. So they basically said, if you're not vaccinated, you need to have the stick swabbed up your nose 3 days a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you have to report to get tested. Or guess what? Go find another fucking job.
Oh, my best superpower.
Because clearly the unvaccinated are the scourge of society, and they are the ones that are going to kill everyone. That is exactly what they're saying.
Well, they have to because they're finding out this vaccine is a joke. And my superpower was for 2 weeks, I'd go to bed and play Fred G. Sanford thinking, "I'm coming, Elizabeth," thinking my heart's going to blow out my chest.
Where did you line?
34. You gonna bring the planter over? It's all the way over on the other
Oh
side.
yeah.
Did you finish 15 yet? I don't think you finished planting 15, did you?
No, I didn't. I was gonna have fun making poplar bales.
Yeah, but now we don't need to make poplar bales.
There's no trigger.
It was a good time while it lasted.
Hey,
Anybody,
there you go. The stream wasn't worthless.
has anybody done root crops at all?
No, I haven't.
I mean, I should be. I mean, is there a reason to think they wouldn't work?
Oh, the only thing you really need to do is you test the triggers to make sure that they sell, but I've already done that and they sold mine.
Okay, so we're okay there then.
I'd say don't worry about the triggers because they're just a typical ordinary trigger. There's no reason it could fail. The only problem I ran into with the port was since it's not sitting on terrain, if you visit it, you know, like hit the visit button, you would fall through it and end up in the water. But that's something that actually started in 17 because Giants changed the way that the spawning works. But anyway, I had a solution for that. I just raised the ground up to the port when you reach trigger so that it wouldn't do that anymore.
So
Rabbit
if you
Rob
ha-
said he doesn't need no jungle juice. He uses a controller.
Yeah.
It's the solution for everything.
So if you fast travel to the chicken coop down here by field 1, by the
It'll
little,
stick you in the middle of the thing. You get
yeah,
trapped.
you're stuck in the coop.
No way
You
to
can
fix
get
that.
out. You can get out. Gotten out before.
If you're careful, you can get out. But that's the Bernie did that when he made that mod because he did not put the center node in the right spot. And there's no way to fix that unless you totally tear it apart and redo it in Blender. So I said, well, I'll just leave it.
I love this little farm down here.
Isn't it cute?
Just need a farm all and we get this Scooter's farm.
So
Yeah,
you
I
all
get
don't,
that little
you
small
all don't
stuff.
remember Mark DuPont, do you?
I remember the name
He
vaguely.
didn't do a lot of 19 stuff. They did 17 stuff. So he was the guy that basically did everything in first person. So when I was doing the Churn series, basically I role played that the old crazy kook that lived there was Mark. So we would periodically do stuff down there. And then I had him on one day, and we did a potato harvest with that old potato digger that used to exist.
Yeah,
before the Grimmy stuff. And then you had to use the belt that picked him up off the ground and put him in a trailer. So
Yep.
I had the crazy kook come over and help me pick up potatoes. That was a fun time.
That was a very enjoyable series. I really enjoyed that because it was like really being on the farm.
That was back when I was creative.
Yeah, back before you got swamped with all the maps to look at.
Speaking of swamped, so this is a schedule, at least for the first half of the week. Tomorrow we got ATS Convoy. 1.42 is full release now. Tuesday, like I said at the start of the stream, we're going to see how much of a hot mess NASCAR 21 is. And then maybe we'll be back here on Wednesday. Maybe we'll have seasons by then.
Very likely. That's a good bet since I'm almost done with the mask now. One thing I gotta do after this is put the textures in. Make sure I don't screw something up doing that. And all the other changes and fixes we needed to do have already been done, so unless anything else is found wrong with the map, I think we'll be good.
So soybeans puts down a plant texture.
Yeah, because you're supposed to plant soybeans with a row planter, but Giants doesn't know that. And that soybeans in the game are the one crop you can plant with both planters. The seed around a planter, which is weird.
Alright, so at least we got to demonstrate the
Sorry.
plant texture.
I'm down here at the biogas plant. Every time a car drives by, the gate lifts.
It goes up, yeah. The trigger's too big on it.
The electric eye is looking too far out in the street.
But in realism, if you could use that seeder that you're driving there to plant in rows, you just have the computer turn off every other injector, so it would still make a path similar to that. So
Well, I will say that the lines match up pretty darn good with the Great Plains planter.
Yeah, it's a 30-inch rows, and most of the planters we've had out do 30-inch rows, so that lines
Lingo
up
Boot,
real
yes,
nice.
this is a 4X map.
Realism. Do I need to go out and check to see if your gas prices are up near $4?
No, because the gas price I put on that pump was the one that was here several months ago. It's not accurate anymore. But what's on the sign is what you'll pay at the station, so they're not going to rip you off.
Is it cheaper at the port or is it just faster?
The port is much cheaper. It's like 30 or 40% of what you would pay at the Exxon station.
But it won't fill a truck. It will only fill a tanker.
It only fill trailers. That's right. Because you go in there as a wholesaler, you know, so they want you to buy a whole bunch of it at one time. They don't want you to be filling up your gas tank with it. Plus, their pump is a much higher pressure, so if you tried to put it in your car, you'd blow it out the thing and wouldn't be able to take it.
Nobody say anything. I went to fill my real life truck up, and it used to shut off at $100. $100 gets me like 3/4 of a tank, so now I guess they changed it where it'll just fill it up. Man, my bill is like $120.
you paying with the same kind of payment method that you paid with before?
Yep.
No, it was programming on the pump.
Ah, okay.
Around
Because
here,
under
you would see signs that says basically you can only pump up to $100 or something.
Okay. Because we used to have a thing at one of the local stations here that if you're using a debit card, that it would only let you have a certain amount. If you're
then
using a credit card,
prices
you
went up, so
whatever you
that
want.
that dollar limit became unrealistic. It's like I can't even fill up my truck because of your stupid $100 limit.
Right.
Exactly.
But I think it was trying to mitigate fraud.
Yeah.
Well, that would have been cool up till the gas price here is $3.65 a gallon.
Yeah.
Ours is still like $3.19, I think, something like that.
Yeah, ours is $3.19 today. I think we pretty much the entire southeast, like Tennessee, Alabama, Florida, we all are on the same pipeline, so most of the time prices are pretty much the same.
And Alabama will generally be about 10 to 12 cents a gallon cheaper than we are here.
I think because they're closer to the main. Yeah.
Well, the state taxes are less on the gas.
That's what.
Is what that is. See, Florida charges about 45 cents per gallon tax on the gas.
There's always, I think South Carolina was always much cheaper too, for some reason. You get in South Carolina, it was 15-20 cents cheaper always.
Alabama used to be better even. I mean, I could go over there and I could save 30 cents a gallon just by crossing the state line, but they've raised their taxes apparently, so it's not quite as good of a deal as it used to be. But if I'm ever going to travel somewhere like to Mobile or whatever, where I'm going to cross over into Alabama, I always wait and just buy my gas when I get into Alabama. That's a little bit cheaper.
Well, I'm gonna have to start doing that now because if I live right on the border of Maryland and I go down there, it's 20 cents cheaper.
Yeah, that's a good plan. If it's not that far away to go, just get it where it's cheaper for sure. Because if you buy 15 or 20 gallons of gas at one time, you can save $3 or $4.
So before I forget, Klein, if people at home want an opportunity to play multiplayer, there'll be a new community server up tomorrow on a 16x map called Yukon River Valley.
Production even, right?
It's called
Yeah.
Shaky Cloud.
It's called what?
Shaky Cloud. The one cloud right in the middle just shakes back and forth violently.
Didn't even look at the clouds. But yeah, it would be gold mining, lumber. There's farming too. But it's by Honor. Is Honor? I can't remember. Same guy who did Beaver Creek back in the day. This is his one. And he's expanded it. It's a nice map. Did a really good. I mean, it's pretty cool. It's nice because it's a global company, but he like built all the placeables into the map. So the file sizes I think was like 800 megs for the whole map. But of course it's Yukon. There's not tons of detail and stuff.
Not a whole lot of stuff out there. And being a 16X,
Yeah,
It's
he's got
like-
one little town area, but yeah, it has workable boats and barges. on
he's
it.
probably using the 4X map size foliage layer files and everything because you can't really do the 16X ones and have good performance. Unless you have a map like Nowhere, Kansas, where there's nothing on it. And even then, you're still going to get a bad stutter.
This one runs pretty solid. I didn't. But it's fun and different. And it'll
For the
be
most part, they seem to do okay for the most part because if you don't put a lot of detail into your map, then you're not going to really see the issues. And I have people, busting at me and saying I'm a map Nazi or whatever, and I say, well, the size of the map files is very important if you're going for detail. You want to scale things up correctly. It'd be like trying to show your video on a monitor at the wrong resolution. If it's low resolution, they blow it up big and it's all pixelated and doesn't look good.
Well,
Same thing's true with the maps.
you can see it when you're like if you're seeding and this weird like whole meter on one side of your seeder is changing color when it's clearly not part of the seeder.
Right. Exactly.
Or if you're mowing and you have a hard time windrowing because the windrow that's being dropped down is not centered behind your thing, it's because ultimately the pixel size of the ground is too big.
And I'll have people argue with me, this, well, so-and-so map is working just fine. And I go download the map, and I look at it, and I say, I come back at them, and I tell them, well, exactly what I said is true. They're using the GDM files, which control foliage layers, and the weight files, which control ground painting resolution. I said their size, their scale, whatever you want to call it, for a 4X map. They're not scaled for a map that's 4 times bigger. And so what that means is that every cell that you paint with foliage layer is going to be 4 times larger than it should be. So that means your detail is going to suffer. And you see it when you're painting a straight road with the brush in GE, and every time you move it over a little bit, you have a 2-meter jaggy, or something like that. So it's okay for people that don't care, because you can make a big map and have fun with it. But for people that want high detail and maps with lots of high detail objects in them, it's a little harder to do because you don't have the right scaling. The only way I got away with it with Nowhere, Kansas was because there's nothing on the map. There's no detail there. It's just the foliage and the road. But the sky jitters really bad on a 16x map because you can't change that. And even on a 4x map, it jitters just a little bit at the edges.
Did we do something why there's like chaff all underneath the Silo King down here?
I have no idea. I saw that.
I did that. That was my mistake. Because I tried to dump chaff in there thinking it would work, and I realized that it's not coded for that, so it just fell through it and landed on the ground.
Alright, so that's just operator error.
Yeah, that's nothing to worry about.
Isaac is appreciating the planted ground texture.
Yeah, that's compliments of Antler 22. He did those. Very nice set of textures there.
Don't really know, Double DZ.
But yeah,
I mean, we have the
up,
sound of wind,
dumping
but
on
you
the
don't really
ground,
see the
just for-
effect of wind.
But yeah, I'll have it up tomorrow. Just something different if people want to goof off for the last month.
Yep. Do some.
We were on there today gold mining, and it was kind of fun because he has like these big cuts with it's fill type pay dirt, and you scoop it out and you take it to a washer, and then you get then you have to take that to a processor, then you have to take that to a smelter, and it's just different,
Oh, that's cool.
And then like it's one of those maps where you can make asphalt and concrete.
Oh, yeah, it's got all that extra stuff put in it.
This is, just different.
Mm-hmm. Sounds cool.
It shows you the flexibility of a farming game
Mm-hmm. Right.
and why, probably one of the reasons why you can't necessarily use just a random off-the-shelf game engine.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Well-
he built these coal mines, and they're big underground structures. And it's just you just scoop out the coal because it's just laying there. It's kind of neat. There's these big tunnels that go under the map and stuff.
Yeah, well, these folks that go on and on about the game engine, oh, we really need to be using Unreal Engine or some other engine like that. They don't really know what they're talking about, even though they think they do. Giants went down that road a long time ago, they could have used a regular engine, but like they brought out in their interview, if anybody had cared to watch it, they couldn't do that. They had to make their own engine in order to be able to do the things they wanted to do in the game.
Yeah, I mean, lots of people pointed out cattle and crops is the the pinnacle, the defunct now cattle and crops, but yeah, the dynamic dirt, and it's like, you know, that map was the only map. In order to mod, you had to basically build the entire map in Blender.
Right,
So
exactly.
you had to have a very specialized amount of knowledge about
Well, I would
a
have liked to see him
very
stuck
specific
around a few
product.
years to change it up and see where they could have went with it.
and that the fields were the fields. You have no creating fields,
Right.
no changing field shapes, no merging fields, because the dynamic dirt was only where the fields were defined. As soon as you got out the field edges, you didn't have dynamic dirt, right?
Yeah, and I tried to reason with
Correct.
them many times, and they'll still sit there and argue, and I'm like, that doesn't change it.
I'm
You
glad you
can't.
have a lot of mud when you enter the field, but doesn't it strike you odd that the grass right outside that field edge is hard as a stone?
Mm-hmm.
My favorite feature about the map was just the AI. Like, my favorite thing about it was that you could click a spot on the map and the tractor would drive to it. Like,
Because
I thought that
Isaac,
was
those
just-
open
No,
world
that's cool. Yeah, that
games
is cool.
are
and
not dynamic.
That was I think the AI aspect, like the ground textures and stuff, were nice, but I think the AI part of
so. Let's
it and the actual
let's talk about like
ground compaction,
Snow
that was
Runner.
pretty neat. But
so.
graphically speaking, like it was kind of dated. It was
Or we can talk about Forza Horizon 5.
Yeah,
that's
I
gonna be
wasn't
coming
impressed with the map. It was kind of
Mhm.
yawny.
It's an open world
But
driving
that's
game, right?
kind of like their Farm Sim 09. So I would have liked to see them have enough money to actually advance that thing. But they were never going to outdo this for a long time to come.
But the thing
Well,
with
they went about it the
is-
wrong way. They tried to design the features and then build the game around it. That's, they wanted to put features in there that don't appear in Giants, so that people would flock to them, and that's not the way to build a game. You got to start with a foundation and work your way up.
all of those open world games are it's a static map,
Yep.
non-changing.
And like was in the chat here just a minute ago, you have people that'll say, well, other games I
So-
play, the scenery just goes on forever, but it
So
doesn't
it's
do
all
that in
kind of
Giants. Well,
pre-rendered.
like in Flight Simulator or whatever, that's on demand loading, And you have games like Truck Simulator, they're only showing a certain sphere of the area around you and it moves on, but there's nothing really high detail. You can't get off the road, for example, and go sideways into a field. You're restricted
Yeah,
as to
it's-
where you can go. You
It's a
can't.
static environment.
Right.
Like,
But in
even
Farm Sim, you can go everywhere on the map. See, that's the difference, and that's why it's like it is.
Well, I mean, so Snow Runner is an open world driving game. You can literally drive anywhere that you can put the truck.
Right.
So if you can get a truck through a bunch of trees through a forest, you can drive it there.
But the map has a limit.
But it's
to an
static.
end of it.
It's static.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
not changing. You don't cut the trees down.
Mm.
You don't change the roads. You can't come in and put in a brand new road. The map is how the map is, and you experience the map for all it is. But it's not changing. So the same
Right.
with Forza. When that comes out, it's an open world driving game. You can literally drive everywhere. Yeah, the only thing you can't do is drive through a building, right?
Right.
But you don't interact with the world. I mean, there's things you can knock over, but they just reappear, right? They come back. You don't change the world.
Right.
But in Farm Sim, I could cut any tree and every tree down.
Yep.
I could take anything that's not a river, and I can make it into a field. Or I could take every field and make it into a parking lot if I wanted to.
You can even get rid of the river too if you want to.
You
Just
can even
bring
get rid of the river now.
bring the
Yeah.
bring the
Right.
ground up, level it out, and put a field there.
Right. So there's next to nothing that I couldn't change about the map. And that's why when you sync in a multiplayer, you have to sync, because it has to basically tell the client what's different about this save versus the map that you have,
Right.
in your mod folder. Well, the fields are different. There's trees here. There's no trees there.
Yep.
There's vehicles that are in these spaces. These are the crops that are in these things.
I would
These
get
are
these
the-
arguments all the time over at FSUK when I was the senior tester and a moderator, and people would they would go on and on and on about it. And I'm like, come on, guys, if you really don't like the game that much, why in the heck are you buying it? You know, if you're going to complain, I mean, shop with your wallet. If you don't like it, don't buy it. But don't come in here and try to make everybody else in the room feel bad because they want to buy it.
Yeah, so it's static environment versus
And yeah, the static
fully dynamic
versus
environment
active
as you
is,
can
yeah.
have.
Yeah, I think the best way to look at farm sim is it's more of a real-time editor. Like, you know, it's even though you can't you can't do as much as you can in GE.
Ooh, this is you, Mr. Rhodes Scholar. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's just a real-time editor. Like it's a, like you said, everything is
It's had some
changeable and
introspection.
editable, and
Yeah.
you know, I mean, the other games like that, and if you think about like Minecraft is a game like that, right? You can change everything. But Minecraft doesn't go on forever. Minecraft does chunk loading. Like
Right.
you can't see the entire map because there's no way. Like your computer would blow up because it can't keep track of everything.
Yeah, and
Now
22 will be a lot better because the way 19 works in every game before 19 is you load every texture that's on the map when you load in the map.
Exactly.
Everything. But in 22, you'll load the textures only the textures that you've seen. So save games should
dynamic
load.
loading.
Save games should load a lot faster.
Mm-hmm.
And unless you just have like a super slow hard drive, then only textures that you are seeing should load. So you should have better performance on lower end graphics systems with less graphic memory.
Mm-hmm.
Or the counter is that mappers could put in much higher resolution textures, so the textures that you do see are higher quality. So the game's fidelity looks better. But like what's behind me, you know, that doesn't render when I'm looking the other way, and whatever is behind me now doesn't render. Yeah,
And that's precisely why these
this
guys.
cell point over here doesn't render when I don't see it.
You've got these guys that are saying, "Oh, I'm working on this awesome map." Everybody's fawning after the map, and then they like, "I'm going to release this on day one for FS22." I say, "No, you're not, because you don't have any idea what's really going on with the game yet. You're making a beautiful map in 19, but it's a 19 map. The terrain is going to be different." Yeah, they don't have the editors. How could they know? See,
Because
everything
the
is going
editors-
to change.
The editor's small. It's like 20 megs.
Yep.
Because it uses all of the game textures and all of the game files. So
been
without the
working on
game,
map.
the editor does nothing.
I've been working on maps since FS 2011, and I know them inside and outside. And I know that what they're saying is impossible to do. You can't do it. You can convert your map, of course. You can convert it naturally, but what about all the ambient occlusion textures? What about all of the way that you have the scenery that you're getting behind, like we talked about, where the textures fade away if you're not looking at the item, all that's got to be coded into it. You know, you're not going to release that map on day one. It's impossible.
Nobody knows what you need to do in a model to do the whole parallax occlusion texturing on the buildings.
Exactly.
It's going to take time to figure that out.
I think you're gonna find out real quick. I think people are gonna release mods, and you're gonna open it up, and you're gonna look, and you're gonna be like,
Oh yeah,
Yep.
I'm going to call them out.
They have no updated textures. They've used,
Yeah.
you know.
Yep.
Like I've talked a couple months ago, I'm going to do a new rating system. Grading, not rating, grading system. And there's going to be points. And certain things like in 19, if we did it, it would be, you know, is the farm pre-baked in, and can you sell it? You know, can you place things down? Because those are all essential parts of the 19 gameplay. So it's going to be, you know, Do the buildings on the map include, you know, the new parallax texturing? No.
Mhm.
Well, then it can't get a perfect score because it doesn't use all of the features and functions of a 22 map.
So no more 2011 textures in the game then.
You know,
It's
I
like
mean,
it's like when you look at a
Ravenport would get
vehicle.
knocked. Ravenport would get a knock because there's no real placeable area for a farm
Right, exactly.
because there's hardly any flat areas on the whole map. And
It's like
Fellsburn at least has 2 or 3 that you could conceivably do something that's relatively flat. But you know, even Giants maps really rated against it and say, well, it's a 4.5 out of 5 because of this or something.
Yeah, the one mapper I was referring to that everybody was fawning over, one of the comments in there was how great all of his maps were. They were so perfect, and I saw one of his recent maps where he redid some of the textures on some of these buildings that call the texture array, and he got it wrong, and the buildings looked horrible because they had like bricks on the door and windows in the sides and, you know, stupid stuff like that. I'm like, this is a professional mapper, and how can he release something that looks as crappy as this does? It's amazing.
Yeah, that was my
Yeah.
disappointment with that Simon Family Farms that MRG did. Because like if you look at the map from a distance, it's like a beautiful map. But then every building texture is this low res and you're just like, oh. Like, and he used just old building textures pretty much on the whole thing. That's just
Yeah.
like, no.
So it looks good from the street.
Well,
Yeah, but
it's
then when
almost-
you actually get up in the yard, you're like, but it's the same when people don't use UDIM for vehicles. Like, it's so easy to spot now. It's just like,
Yeah. Yeah. So
Well, you got to get with the times. It's like when I was a tester at FSUK, and I think FS15, and they brought several new things to the game, like vehicles getting dirty and everything, and people were trying to release things that had no working gauges, no getting dirty, no mirrors, and I'm like, I'm not going to pass this because it doesn't meet the game standards anymore. See, the game standard, all this stuff is game standard now. So if you can't do that in your mod, then how can I give it a 5-star rating? How can I give it a perfect score? I can't.
but
And they
we'll
get
see.
mad at me.
I mean,
They're all upset, you know. Whoa.
We'll see. And it's like now I've learned, like, if I'm looking at mods and if they're not on the in-game mod hub and you find them like out on the internet, it's like 130 megabytes for a truck. You're like, yeah,
Right.
no, that's things. It's not right. Something wrong with it. You know, it's not done right. Because like Alien Jim's whole damn map is less than 100 megabytes. So I don't.
Right. That's because he uses all Giants textures on everything, and that's the way to do it.
Yeah, references. And I think Scooter, he can tell you, he's in chat, but like he's tore a couple mods apart for us on Lake and Creek, and just the file size reduction is crazy
Yeah.
when you properly reference the UDIM. Like
Mhm. Well, you can get
Yeah,
rid of
Phil.
all the AO textures. You know, what you call it. You don't need them anymore. I mean, all you have to
in
do
my
is have
opinion, he's
specular
too
and
much of a
normal,
map factory.
and that saves a whole lot of space.
And then Glenn from OKU's mods, like if you look at his earlier stuff, and he'll even tell you, like he didn't know, but now that he knows, like he can, he can do some really neat stuff by referencing the game stuff, like with neon and all that. It doesn't take anything special. You just gotta get creative with what the game gives you.
Right.
Right, but he
Speaking
figured
of,
it.
he made a
He
super
learned.
soaker.
He learned, and he, moved
Yeah.
forward. He didn't just keep doing it the way you've done it for 10 years.
And my problem with my maps is that I use so many custom scenery bits that require their own textures. That it's not that people say your maps are not optimized. So they're very well optimized. It's just that when you have a 3 gig texture folder because of all your scenery, and then you have another 200 megabytes of custom crop textures and stuff. There's no way to make that any smaller. And until I can get a hold of more and more building assets that are actually based on game textures, then it's going to be that way. It's going to always be a problem. Of course, I could use the same house 25 times in the map and the same factory for every sell point, and that would make it better, but I don't want to do that.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see real quick what's, people.
All right, guys. I think that is
people
going to
that
do
adopt
us
it
for
will-
today.
they will,
We'll be out on American Truck Simulator
End
doing
of the
convoy
day,
mode
though,
tomorrow
as
night.
long as everybody's having fun.
That's
So be
it.
sure to check out the
Yeah.
mayhem that will very
Because the
likely
community has
ensue
the
on that.
ability to get pretty toxic if they get upset, and that's just not cool.
Like I said,
Yeah.
Tuesday we're
Well,
going to be
just
checking
relax,
out
guys. It's just a
NASCAR
game,
21,
you know?
Yep. Have fun with it.
seeing how much they've been able to patch up
play
today.
with what you like. If you don't like low textures, don't play with them.
And if everything works out
Yep.
well, we'll be back on this map on Wednesday, working through seasons, making sure textures change, the weather, all that.
Yeah.
So until next time,
We'll see.
happy farming.